I have always been frugal with my money, sometimes to a fault. Like, Liz, if you have a headache, you can buy Advil, it's okay. I fear this is not a relatable intro. My point is, I have spent years of my life basically always trying to avoid spending money as much as possible, while also being a lifelong lover of fashion and style and putting together outfits, communicating through my clothes, all that good stuff. All the reasons we love fashion, even when we don't love spending money. So today, I just want to share a bunch of different things that have helped me enjoy fashion and style over the years without needing to buy a bunch of new things or spend a bunch of money. We're going to go over mostly tips on ways to refresh your style or enjoy fashion without buying anything at all. And then at the end, there's a couple tips for when you do have a shopping budget, but it's very small. Let's get started with the main tips to avoid spending any money at all. My first tip is, when exploring fashion and style inspiration, look less for ideas on what to buy and more for ideas on how to style. This is something you can do in a really micro sense, like if there's one specific day when you're really itching to shop for clothing, you can seek out ways to explore creatively with what you have instead. But it's also something you can do in the macro sense as a general habit. I realize this sounds very broad, so what are some more specific, actionable ideas you can use to actually accomplish this? Firstly, you can intentionally cultivate the content you consume, your social media feeds, etc., so that they are generally more geared towards styling than buying every time you look at them. I mean, we're definitely not in total control of everything we see on our social media feeds, but following people who rewear and restyle things, give you styling ideas that you can apply to your own closet, and unfollowing people who are constantly doing new hauls or constantly showing new products can definitely help. Of course, I also love Pinterest for fashion inspo. It definitely can sometimes leave me wanting to buy things. You gotta be careful with that. But my suggestion would be, rather than continuing to scroll and scroll and scroll and save and save and save and look at more and more and more images and products and ideas, try just looking at the outfits you have already saved and trying to recreate or take inspiration from them with your own closet. I think Pinterest is the most useful when, instead of just a collection of inspiration, you actively put that inspiration into action. I've done this many times in videos, and it is genuinely always so fun and inspiring that I truly recommend just trying this out on your own for fun in front of the mirror. Even if the outfit doesn't work out the same way as the photo, I still always get new outfit ideas and better insights into my style and wardrobe. You can also just play dress up, no online inspo needed. Just take some time to play around with your clothing when you're not in a rush, you have nowhere to be, and try out new combinations. This will allow you to try out new ideas that you would normally just skip over when actually getting ready. And you might find a new combination that you love. If you don't want to reference outfits from online, but you still need some framework for your inspiration, a little guidance for your dress up session, you could also pick a piece you never wear and try styling an outfit around it, or try to recreate more general outfit formulas with pieces you have. And if you want some extra creative challenges, my top two are A, picking two random pieces from your closet and trying to make an outfit that makes them work together. And B, looking at runway fashion and seeing if or how you can translate different looks with your own closet. And they're gonna end up being really different, but just see what creativity it sparks, what paths you end up on that you wouldn't have otherwise. Am I just kind of listing off various ideas of videos I have done before? Yes. But that's because they're all really great creative styling exercises I did with clothes I already had. Okay, my next tip might seem weirdly niche and specific in contrast with the last one, but it is, use your accessories. Obviously, telling people to accessorize is a common style tip in general that could also be telling you something you could shop for. But here I am specifically saying use your accessories because I know you have accessories already in your possession that you don't wear. No, I don't. I don't know you. But I feel like so many of us, including me, have accessories that we just never bother to put on. I guess because it takes an extra moment or two, it feels sort of pointless, or it feels like too much, whatever the reason. But I'm telling you, just do it. It will make your outfits feel more complete, give them more depth, and give you more variation in your wardrobe. If you're one of those people who isn't a huge accessories person, maybe you just have like one necklace and a pair of sunglasses and like a baseball cap, things that feel more mundane and less like stylized accessorizing items, that's okay. Those count too. I'm telling you, the same outfit with those couple accessories versus without them can feel so much more styled and intentional, and it will make you feel so much cooler. Just put them on. And if you're one of those people who has a lot of accessories, but maybe you just don't wear them as often as you'd like, or you default to the same ones all the time, this is your reminder to think about them a little more intentionally. If you're styling a typical everyday outfit and you're about to put on the same earrings you always wear, maybe try going for a different pair. That's what I did today. I got the bug earrings out. Or you could also try styling a whole outfit around an accessory as a starting point. Like that one scarf you never wear because it feels too bold to add on to an outfit that you've already put together. Basically, if you have accessories that you always skip over, this is your reminder to maybe pause and take a moment to add them to your outfit next time. They'll make all your outfits more interesting, and they'll make you feel like your wardrobe has more variety and more different options. Also, I know we're still in the no spend tips, but if you do want to use a little bit of budget to add to your wardrobe, but keep it very small, I also think accessories can be a great item to refresh your wardrobe rather than clothing, because A, they cost less than clothing, B, they're easier to thrift or get secondhand because you don't have to worry about fit the same way you do with clothing, and C, you can usually add them to so many different outfits and style them in so many more ways than you can with a clothing item. But again, that's also true with the accessories you own and aren't wearing, so maybe try that first before you shop for new ones. Alternatively, my next tip is for people who are less interested in putting more effort into their outfits or having a sense of novelty in their wardrobes and are more interested in just looking good and stylish and put together without having to think too much about it. I think the perfect solution for people with that particular attitude towards style is a capsule wardrobe. Obviously, I do not think this is ideal for everyone. I do not have a capsule wardrobe, but I do think this is a great thing to try out for those who are maybe finding themselves overthinking their outfits, who find their closets overwhelming, and who maybe often suffer from the closet full of clothes but nothing to wear feeling. I'm not saying you should get rid of like 90% of your wardrobe permanently all at once. That feels like a recipe for regret. But if your wardrobe feels chaotic and uncohesive, instead of adding more to try to mitigate that, it might be worthwhile to curate a smaller collection of pieces from that larger wardrobe, ideally pieces that all go together, and just try getting dressed only from those pieces for a month or so and see how you feel. Curating and culling down your collection to only the pieces you know will work and taking out things that aren't working with the rest might actually improve your style more than getting anything new. Because as large and variant as my wardrobe is, there definitely is something to be said for a smaller, more cohesive wardrobe where everything just goes together, because then all your outfits will work together and look good without you even having to think about it. Even for people who have no intention of converting to a capsule wardrobe long term, trying this out for like a month can be a great experiment, just to see how you feel. Maybe see how many different or creative combinations you can make within that smaller capsule. I have actually done this before for a 40-day trip, and I got so much out of that experience, and I also made a couple of videos about it. So if that interests you, I'll link those below as well. I'm really plugging all my other videos in this video. They're all relevant. It all comes together. All right, my next tip is something that if you watch this channel, you knew was coming. It is embrace altering and mending. The ability to mend a ripped seam, patch up a hole, take in a waistband is so useful and genuinely so easy. Once you learn, you'll be like, what was I even doing before I had this skill? How did I make it this long? This is so useful for several reasons. Firstly, it will allow you to repair things in your wardrobe instead of getting rid of or replacing them, or just continuing to wear them, but with like holes or missing buttons, which is fine, but fixing things is definitely the better option. And if you're able to repair little things early, that will prevent them from getting worse down the line. Secondly, these skills will allow you to alter clothing to fit you better, which will always look more stylish. This can also save a lot of buying and returning things, or buying and reselling things, and then having to buy a different one and hoping that one fits right. I will say mending is definitely easier than altering clothing, at least to me. So if alterations seem a little too intimidating for you at first and you'd rather just keep trying to buy something that fits you perfectly, I understand. I don't hold that against you. But if that's the case, let's just start with mending. Sewing up a hole, sewing a button back on. I cannot stress enough how easy these things are and how much longevity they can add to your wardrobe. I also just want to add, I know you see me use a sewing machine a lot in my DIY videos, but you absolutely do not need a sewing machine or any costly equipment to do this, especially mending. Most mending is best done by hand anyway, and all you need is a needle and thread. I actually just mended a rip in my couch by hand with the needle and thread. And it worked quite well, if I do say so myself. So you can do it. Let's add mending furniture to the money-saving tips while we're at it. Oh, and if you're looking for some guidance on how to do quality hand sewing, I learned what I needed for this couch from an excellent Bernadette Banner video, so I will link that in the description as well. Finally, altering and mending also totally opens up your options at the thrift store. Again, we're not in the buying section of the video yet, but I just want to know, you can get a steal at the thrift store if it has like a hole in it, and then you can repair that hole so easily. And you can also alter things from the thrift store that may not be quite the right size or quite the right fit and make them the right size or fit. I definitely would not recommend buying things that you're going to need to alter or mend if you're not absolutely 100% sure you're going to do it. But if you start by learning to mend and alter the clothes you already have, and then you have the skill and you know that it's easy for you, it will open up these options for you down the line as well. This next tip is similar, but different enough that it needed its own category. Embrace DIYs and upcycles. The last tip is about preserving things in your wardrobe, making them work for you continually over time. This tip is more about refreshing your wardrobe and adding novelty by transforming old things into new things. You can embroider your clothes, draw on them, paint on them, needle felts, add appliques or patches or lace or ribbons, or you can even do the most simple and classic thrift flip of all, just cutting things up. Cut the sleeves off, crop something, chop your pants into shorts. There are so many fun creative projects you can do to totally transform your old clothes that you're just bored of. And again, this does not require a sewing machine. Most of the things I just listed don't require sewing at all. Some of them require supplies that you might not have around, but I would just go for the ones that don't. If you want to do this, pick a project that uses supplies you already have. I used to paint on my clothes all the time in college because I didn't really have much of the other supplies that I just listed off, but I did have paints. And you know what? It worked great. This can also be a great way to incorporate like a specific motif. Maybe you're really fiending for a certain trendy graphic. You're like, I want the Lisa Says Ga tomato graphic tee. You can just paint a tomato graphic right on there yourself on some old short you already have. I also realize this tip is more for the artistically inclined. Not everyone is going to feel confident that they can just like design their own graphic and put it on a shirt. But there's also so much guidance out there, so many YouTube tutorials, and so many crafts like embroidery where you can have a clear guide and you don't have to think of yourself as someone who's already good at drawing or painting to make something beautiful. And if you do like drawing and painting and that sort of thing, this is the perfect idea for you because it is so fun to draw and paint on your clothes. My next tip is something I don't actually do that often, but it's always so much fun when I do. It's borrowing clothes from or swapping clothes with other people in your life or people who aren't even in your life. If you have like a community clothing swap with strangers, that's even better. But assuming you don't, just calling up your sister, getting some friends together, everyone brings their little rejects from their closet clean out and you all swap them together with each other. So much fun. It literally feels like getting a little thrift haul, but it's free and you get to give something great to your friends as well. It's like the perfect symbiotic little activity. Man, I haven't done this in a while and I feel like I really have to ASAP. I'm like reminding myself, reconvincing myself why it's so fun. I also feel like this makes it easier to let go of those pieces that like you never wear, but something about them seems precious and you want them to go to a good home. Giving them to a friend is like the ideal good home. So it's a less guilt-ridden way to pass things along. The borrowing part of this idea is probably even easier and even more convenient. You do have to then be someone or know someone who is fine with loaning out their clothes, which I don't know if I always am. I'm pretty protective of certain clothes. That's the distrustful sister in me. But I think most people have some clothes they're okay with loaning. And I feel like this is especially relevant for events and formal wear because lots of people have formal wear that they like got for one specific event and then they wore it for that event. And now it's just sitting there. And formal wear is expensive. So friends loaning out formal wear to each other to maximize wear and minimize expense, it's a great system. And usually if you've already worn something for its main purpose and you don't have any particular future use in mind and it's just sitting there, you're not that worried about someone like messing it up, you know? I have definitely swapped with my sisters and friends for like weddings and even dances in high school. And I just think it's such a great system. It's perfect for those like one wear formal items. Of course, this whole premise does depend on you knowing people who are similar in size to you. I imagine most of us know lots of different people across lots of different sizes, but hopefully that also includes knowing some people who are similar in size to you who you can potentially swap and trade with. Okay, this next tip may seem very specific, but it is to try experimenting with your hair. Just like wearing it in a different style than you usually do. Maybe taking the time to do some braids or some buns, or even just parting it differently, swooshing your bangs differently. Any of these things can just give you such a sense of novelty in your look, and the more interesting the hairstyle, the more interesting it makes your outfit. Your hair is like an accessory that's built in, so you might as well use it. And of course, hair accessories can be part of this, but I'm really talking about the hairstyle itself. Just different things you can make with like ponytails and bobby pins. Stuff you probably already have if you have long hair. Also, obviously, not everyone has long hair, but honestly, I feel like if you already have like a chic little short haircut, you're already beating the rest of us at using your hair as a stylish accessory, and you don't really need this tip. You're already winning. Congratulations. I've also been feeling kind of bored and frustrated with my hair lately. I feel like it has not been nearly as wavy or curly lately. I don't know if it's just because the colder, drier season. We don't really need to get into my gripes with my own hair. This is just to say, if you're feeling the same way, maybe try some fun styles. That's what I'm gonna try to do. You know, this also might be kind of extreme, but it's also occurring to me that you could switch up your style by getting a whole new haircut. And that's a really fun way to refresh your look without any clothes at all. Haircuts still cost money though, for most people. So maybe this tip is not that useful or relevant. But maybe like if you're going to get your regular haircut anyway, you could try a new haircut. Or if, like me, you cut your own hair, you have the power to switch it up for free at any time. There are many possibilities to switch up your look. Okay, we're on to my last no buying tip before we get into just a couple tips for when you do want to buy things. But the last tip that does not require buying anything at all is to cultivate a signature look. Truly, not only is always having a new outfit needlessly expensive, it also doesn't even make people more stylish. Think of the most stylish people you know. Are they always wearing something new and different and showing totally different styles? Or do they have a really distinct style with repeated motifs and repeated pieces that you can clearly identify with them? For me, it's definitely the latter, both for like online fashion people I follow and just people I know in my own personal life. The most stylish people repeat looks. That's literally how you cultivate a distinct style. Dare I say, it's impossible to cultivate a distinct style without repeating things. So if it's more of a style of garment, like you have a bunch of long skirts in your closet and like no short skirts, lean into that. That does not necessarily mean you should go out and buy a bunch of short skirts to balance out your wardrobe and have more variation. It probably means you like long skirts and they're part of your style. And if you just keep wearing them and embracing the thing that makes your style distinct, that will actually develop your style more. And if it's more of a signature piece or even a full signature outfit, honestly, that's even better. I mean, what's more iconic than like Jane Birkin and her basket bag? Or like Audrey Hepburn, I feel like she's always wearing this outfit in every image I see of her. And she's like a timeless style icon, you know? Constantly repeating signature pieces makes your style. So embrace them. Repeat them even more. There is no need to shy away from repeated looks. All right, finally, I just have 2 tips for how to get the most out of your small budget when you do want to buy something. First off, obviously, is to prioritize thrifting. Duh. You all saw this coming. You probably don't actually need to hear this from me. It is so much more affordable than shopping new. In my experience, it is still more affordable than fast fashion. Maybe that's not true everywhere, but it is for me. And even in the cases where you could, in theory, get something for the same price new, the thing you're gonna get secondhand for that price is gonna be so much better quality. Like, the $8 polyester top you could get on sale from Princess Polly is not worth the same as the 100% cotton J. Crew blouse you could find at the thrift store, also for $8. If you are trying to maximize quality and get your budget to go as far as possible, thrifting simply can't be beat, especially if you know how to look for quality at the thrift store, like in material and construction. You all surely do not need to hear more on the benefits of thrifting from me, so that's all I'll say on that. Let's go to the next tip. Finally, my other tip for when you are shopping is if you have a certain set amount of money to spend, perhaps consider spending it on fewer, nicer things rather than many cheaper, lower quality things. This might seem counterintuitive. I think those of us who are frugally minded are always looking for a deal, trying to stretch our money as far as possible. But sometimes the way to make your money go further in your style is to spend it on one beautiful, versatile, high quality staple rather than a handful of miscellaneous mediocre items. More items does not actually mean you're getting more value for your money if the items are lower quality or less useful to you. You also do not need to have a huge budget to do this because this applies to thrifting too. So like even if you only have $25 to spend at the thrift store, spending it on one genuine leather jacket instead of like 3 or 4 different random tops might actually go further to elevate your style, depending on the tops and like what you already have in your wardrobe and what you need in your wardrobe. You know, I'm definitely not saying the more expensive thing is always more worthwhile than the cheaper things, but if you're choosing between like 2 mediocre tops or one really beautiful higher quality top, picking the quality item is probably the better choice because you'll probably enjoy wearing it more, it will look better, and it will probably last longer and not need to be discarded or replaced as quickly, which also saves you more money in the long run. All right, y'all, those are all the tips I came up with this week for how to be stylish and have fun with fashion on the smallest budget possible. I hope this was helpful to you all, and I'm sure there are plenty more helpful ideas out there. So if you have any to add, please feel free to share them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. And I heard if you do leave a comment, watch another video like one of the several that I recommended to you, all of which are linked below, and subscribe, you'll finally come up with the perfect outfit for that one accessory you never wear.